Hi guys, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily. You're very welcome to visit with me for a little while. I'm a day late. It is Friday. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the first day since the 1st of May that I've not worked, and I have very gratefully taken the day off. Yeah, big life change coming up. I have handed my notice in at my current job. It was unsustainable workload. It had become poison. The place is just poison. So I just realised how terribly old and squint my sofa cushion looks. There we go. So I kind of accidentally, I was starting to look for a new job and like literally landed a new job the next day, which is quite unusual, but I'm going to be chefing. I'm going to be at another wedding venue. Absolutely beautiful place. I have fingers crossed. So that's why I've been a little bit up and down, all sorts of things going bananas in my world. So we'll see how we get on. So I've got a little bit longer to serve out my notice. And of course, because I'm working my notice, I'm been giving every shit shift known to man, which I am taking on my chin and I'm getting on and doing. Plus, when I have had a bit of time off, I've had a little trial at my new job, and it's a really nice place. So hopefully it's all going to go well. So this is a channel about cross stitch. I just very considering what's going on in my life has been doing this. I've just given you this much, but just to try and explain where I've been. You've seen, if you've watched me every week, you've seen me going up and down and up and down and around and about, and that's the reason why, predominantly the reason why. And hopefully things are going to settle out for me a little bit as we roll into June. Consequently, my stitching has suffered horrifically because I've had no time, and when I have had time, I've got home and I've gone straight to sleep. You can probably see how the bags under my eyes are starting to like pack their own bags. It's going to get better. I'm going to have time, a little bit more time. I'm switching. I'm not going to be making more money, but I'm going to have a better balance, I think, of time at work and time not at work. So hopefully the balance is going to be better. This is what I'm hoping for, around about the same wages, which I think the way I've been feeling, and you all know, I'm just like work, and it gets a bit boring hearing it from me, but hopefully my balance is going to tip slightly better very shortly. So there we go. Cross stitch. I have been stitching today. I've only stitched on 2 things in the last week and 1 day. My treasure hunt bookshelf and the Botley Threads 12 Days of Christmas kit, which I've got to try and keep up with because I want it done this year. Obviously it's a Christmas present, so I need it done before Christmas. I'll show you my 12 Days of Christmas. I'm working on number 5, 5 being May. I think I'm doing all right actually for May. Here's where it was last video, and today, still with my thread pulled clean through. I'm actually going to I was about to say that the only thing I had left to do was gold on this one, but I actually have, before I tell an out and out lie, I just decided then to quickly go and grab it. So I am actually 5 stitches off just having the gold left to do, so I'm just going to do them now so that I don't lie to you. And yeah, God, it's been a funny old week, so I've done an awful lot of hours this week. As I say, I went and tried out my new job on Sunday, just for a little bit, just to get a feel for the place, and it's really lovely. So I'm very optimistic that I'm going to be okay. And yeah, 1 more stitch and I will get back to you. I was just about to say, the only stitches I have left to do are gold. So there. As you can see, I've done some of the gold. There's number 5 and 5 gold rings. This gold ring is done. The big gold ring has got bits and spots. I need 1, 2, 3 of those, and the border, which is done from there to there. So this is all gold left to go now, but at least all I need to fill in is gold, so I only need to just have a few strands of gold with me, and I can put in a length here and there when I can. I want this one finished up in May, and ideally I'd like to get a start on June, so that's on the cards. But I'm really pleased with my progress on that. To be fair, it was mostly the burgundy and the light green. There's the burgundy, the light green, and then this brighter red, and then just the colour, this colour that's in all the numbers. All the numbers have got the same pattern running in them. So there's the pattern done on the 5, just so that everything else needing to be filled in is being filled in with gold. So that's just a job for me to fight with for the rest of the month. My treasure hunt bookshelf is currently sitting at 13%, exactly. And you know what? I'm incredibly tempted to say I've done my 1% for the month. I know I was only going to stitch on it in May, but it is May the 19th and I have done 1%. That is 7,223 stitches, I grant you, near enough. 72 stitches takes you a 0.01, so I'm very tempted to say, look, I've done my stitches for the month, that'll do, because I've actually gone and pulled some things that I would like to work on. So I think I'm just going to say I'll maybe do, I couldn't find my 931, not in anything, not in any of my DMC boxes. I've got my master set, I've got my doubles box, I've got a set which is just for the winter stitching shelf because I was gifted that as a set. So they sit separately, and I've got a random box full of, you know, when you use one and you don't put it away, so I've got a box, I just chuck them in, and then every now and again I put everything away. Yeah, I couldn't find my 931. So at a great monetary cost, I went into Hobbycraft and just got my 931 today. These are now £1.50 in Hobbycraft, which is still, I believe, under the recommended retail price a little bit. DMC has gone ridiculous. Like everything else, the hobby's getting more expensive. Oh hum. I have a lot of skeins, I should be fine, but I could not find this one. This means when I go upstairs tonight, I'll look on the floor and go, oh, there's a bobbin. I will pick it up and it'll be 931, and then I'll go, oh, there's a bobbin on the side over there. Pick that up and that will also be 931, and then I'll have 3. That's what that means. Anyway, my treasure hunt bookshelf, last video, looked like this. This video, I'm very proud, for the first time in Max Colour, I have a top left corner for the 3rd time, because I started this, I restarted it at standard size, and then of course I started my super size Max Colour. So there's what I've done. I was somewhere with just a little bit of this colour in last week, so I finally trekked over to the corner, everything lined up. When I counted to the corner, I was on my mark and it was right, so I'm confident that this is okay. So for a super size Max Colour, there is that corner. This is my arms. Okay, my arms are fully stretched. I've got quite long arms. My arms are at full stretch. There is that corner. And there is that corner. It is that size. But the corner is there. So I'm very, very pleased that I've found the corner, which is what I wanted to do. I hadn't realised, I thought I was at like 12.98 or something. I hadn't realised I'd tipped over to 13%. Because I'd already sort of said I was going to have a look at it, and then when I said in my video I was going to say maybe I'll take it to 13%. I don't think I want to chuck on. I'm definitely not going to get another 7,000 stitches in it this month, so, and I don't want to start the month on a fraction. I know that would be just fine and I could, but I kind of don't want to. I want, maybe I'm just going to be a 1% a month person, and that's enough, you know, that's good enough.
I don't know if there's anything that won't.
Sometimes that's good enough. Sorry, I knocked the jigger. I knocked the Xbox thing that put the telly back on. I've got it on pause. Um, so there is my corner. As I say, third time I've stitched it. That's going to be the little glowy, like, lightning bulb thing that I have stitched twice already. But I was going to put in, I will do a little bit more. As I say, I'm going to put in the 931, and I'm going to put in a nice bright green. I think it's going to be like 905 or something. Is like the first couple of leaves have got a lot of 905, so I thought like one really punchy bright colour. So I might just do a little tiny bit more for the month, and then that'll do. That'll do. We're going to call it good. And because of the way my life's gone in May, I've not got the 4, possibly 5% I was hoping to put into this, because life gets in the way. Life changes, job changes. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm feeling very positive about this because it's going to be okay. So, because I'm feeling nice and positive, and because the weather's getting very nice here and quite, I'm going to even tip and say early summerish actually for the UK. It's quite balmy and mild, and everything looks very green and lovely outside. So I've picked out two pieces that I've wanted to work on for a while, and they are both on very blue fabric. You can see who that is. This one here is my Only Tiny Modernist, and this is my Stitching Goddess. There she is. She is washing out a little bit. She is actually very much brighter blue. On a piece of fabric I dyed myself. This is going to be 32 count Lugana, I think. There's enough for both of them because the capsule came with both patterns. And I think I'd like to do a little bit of her. This one here, I'm just going straight DMC as it's charted, and then the other girl, I'm going to change out her dress colour, and I bought 3 skeins of something really pretty. I can't remember what it was. I think it's possibly a lilac-y colour. I just picked a pretty colour and bought 3 of those to do the other girl's dress with. So, and on the other pattern, I'm going to, so it's not identical, I'm going to switch it out. So if there's if the bunny is this fawn colour here, and then something over there is grey, I'm going to do the bunny grey and the thing over there the fawn colour. So they're going to kind of mirror each other, even though the girls are completely different. I don't want all the accoutrements around the sides are all exactly the same. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to just change the colours up. And you can see I think it's about 46% done. This dress is full coverage, so there's a lot to colour. But I thought I might just pull her out and stick her in the Q-snap and put some stitches into her, because I fancy doing it. And she's got such a lovely face. Look, she's lovely. She's so pretty. And I did so much, and then just sort of came to a slidey stop. Oh, a couple of years ago now. And then, excuse the rustling, the other piece I really need to get on with is I need to do my annual block. I have been cross-stitching for 3 years. This was my first start. My first let's go back to cross-stitch. And of course I picked a Hawk Run Hollow. This is the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow because it's got the ship in the middle. And I am doing the Supercolour version, the Supercolour of things I had lying around version. So the first block was literally old stuff that I already owned. It's absolutely terrible stitching. The cross stitches are awful. There's a whole row of half stitches because I obviously missed. It's Cashel, which I hate. I know now that I hate. It's the rigid, feels nasty. It's lovely if you stitch in hand, but I don't, and I don't like the feel of it, and I don't like the fact that it's completely rigid and you can't iron out the creases. And I won't be able to wash this because it's got a lot of hand dyed, very, very old silks that I acquired from my grandma's estate. Like these here, these are all extremely old silks. So once a year I do one block. This was last year's block. So this year I'm going to do this block here, which has a jazzy old moon on it. And I'm going to change the words. I just, of course, because it was my first piece, I thought I'm just going to change everything. So, ooh, there's a whole piece of double-sided sticky tape. Like really, really nasty old double-sided sticky tape sticking to that. Let's get rid of that. So here is my, oh crikey, there's a lot of stitching on this piece. So it's going to be this block here with the moon. That's bigger. There. As you can see, my colours are bananas different. This one was quite the same, except I changed the, did I change the face on the moon, or the sun as well? Yes. Did I change its face? I changed something. I changed all the words, and then I had to, because it should say, light the way, come what may. So I had my children in thought, so I put we light our own way, come what may, because we do. At the end of the day, the only person looking after us is us. So this was going to be like, I was probably thinking it was going to be my only ever piece of cross stitch, and it was going to be a big legacy thing for my kids to have. So that's the block I finished. Let me find the block that here we go. So this block with the moon reads, "The moon above will guide my love while he's at sea away from me." Because I think it was meant to be a woman stitching it with her boyfriend, fiance, partner away at sea, possibly never coming back, you know, disappeared off to new lands, what have you. But I decided to write, and I'll have to rechart the words obviously, which is no real bother, is it? They're pretty much always pretty much a full there's pretty much a full alphabet there. And if there's not, I'll just fudge it in. It's fine. So I'm going to write with my kids in mind, obviously. "The moon above will guide my loves while they roam away from home." When my kids grow up and go roam as Maddie is in Cambridge, and you know, it can guide them. So they're all, I've written on the back of each of the pattern pages everything that I'll change the words up to. So we've got see the one for next year, which is a very, very solid house, says "My love at sea," and I'm just going to write "My love the sea," because I used to go on big ships and I love the sea. That one's got no writing on it, which is easy. That one's got no writing on it, which is easy. God almighty, that one's full coverage. And where it says, oh, here we are, that in memory of Lieutenant Jacob Pomeroy, anchored in the heaven of rest, 1745. So I take it he didn't come back. So instead of stitching that, which, although beautiful, means nothing to me, I'm just going to, I've actually written, you can see there, I've just put my own name, a Shell, because I used to work for Shell Oil, Shell Marine, who I worked for, and then a birdie either side, and look at me, optimistically wrote 2019. What planet was I on? What year is going to get put on this? Oh my god, if I'm doing one block a year, it's going to be like, oh, let's have a look. Let's entertain ourselves. So this one is going to be 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. If I do one block a year, and they are pretty much, this is probably the least full coverage block of all of them. Actually, this one here, this one is similarly non-full coverage, but you can see this one here is basically full coverage. This one and this one are completely just about, and then this one's half, that one's easily half, and this one's got a huge great ship, but I'm assuming that's going to take me 2 years. I'm being realistic. I have 50 something whips. I have to be realistic about how long these things are going to take me. So yeah, I think I'm going to hang off the 2019. I think I'm going to do the 20 for sure, because let's be fair, I'm not going to live till 21 anything, am I? So I think I'll put the 20 in, but then I'm going to leave enough threaded onto the sides to stitch the year I finish it, and it'll be the year I finish it, not the year I stitch the block. 2019, what planet was I on? I didn't understand. I was new and I didn't understand. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's super fun. Yeah, so I think maybe it's time to pull out. I think I just have to cut my card accordingly with my treasure hunt bookshelf and say, I have met my goal, I have done 1%, and I fancy stitching on something else now. So nice bright blue, that just lives in the packet. I must make this a project bag. It's going to be with me until 2031 at least. I really need to make it a project bag. And my little stitch goddess, I want to work on her, so I think I will. And there's no rules. Cross stitch has no rules. It is a hobby. We can do whatever we want with, so I'm going to do whatever I want. Apart from my mum's Christmas present and my 1% of my treasure hunt bookshelf, which I've nearly done. I'm nearly caught up and I've done my 1%, but I will put in a couple pretty stitches yet, possibly as soon as I am processing this video. So I apologise for the top of the mountain above me. I appreciate it keeps looking like I've got a horn on the top of my head. That's why I'm bobbing about so much. I'm trying to keep my head above it. This is just some of my eldest daughter's artwork, but she is not at university doing art. She is at university reading law, because that's my girl. My middle daughter Lizzie is looking at fine art, so they're pretty good. They're a pretty good bunch. But this one's not been uncovered for a long time. Look, isn't it? Oh, I'll bring it up a bit nearer. Look, it's just on a piece of MDF. Just painted on a piece of MDF. Here, look. There's my big girl. And this is all like neon day glow, very acrylic. She's an acrylics. She's an acrylics painter. I just think that's marvellous. I love the colour in it. It's got real pizzazz. There. I can't help but notice while I'm filming I've got an array of, that's a finished cross stitch. That's one. I mean, it's fully finished, but it's not hung on the wall, it's just leaning against. Anyway, guys, you can see I'm feeling very much better in myself. I think I have made the only decision I could. My current work was just, it was literally making me crazy. And I came to the realisation that I couldn't fix what was wrong. It didn't matter how much I did and how hard I worked. It was poisonous, toxic. I like poison. I like poisonous. The environment there is not brilliant, and I couldn't fix it. I tried so hard, and I worked so hard to make things better, and I got nowhere. I literally got nowhere. So it left me no option really but to move on. So I'm moving on, and I feel very good about my decision, and fingers crossed in a month or two I'm going to be in a much better frame of mind. Yeah, I was reaching the point where I was actually having anxiety attacks, and that is rubbish. It's rubbish. I've not had them for years. I've not had them for so long that when I used to get them I didn't even know what they were. Now I'm aware, and it's like, I'm aware it's happening, but you know when you're powerless to stop it. Oh, it was just enough. I just couldn't keep doing the same thing. It's a definition of madness, isn't it? Isn't that right? You keep doing the same thing in the hope of a different outcome, and I was not getting any other outcome other than just literally banging my head against the wall. So you know, I had to make something had to give, so it had to be me, because it was the only way of staying sane. And I'm not the sort of person that does that. I can't I'm not a changer upper. I'm not a quitter. I just keep going, and that I just reached the point where I had to call it, and it's been a real big decision to have to make. So you can see how it's been muddling up my brain a lot, but hopefully things are going to even themselves out. I'm going to have more time sometime. One, sometime. Two, hopefully a lot more time, because it's the same hours I should have been working at my current job, but obviously I do a hell of a lot more for no extra money. There's the kicker. There's the kicker. For no extra money, I was doing a hell of a lot more without any option of doing less. But it's over, instead of being 6 days, 6.5 days, this is a 4-day week, so it's 4 long days. It's 4 11 to 12 hour days, but 4 days. Now, just Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, I did an 11, a 12 and a 12.5 hour day at my current work. Bear in mind, I'm only paid for 40 hours a week. So in 3 days, I nearly did my 40 hours, and I'm rotated 5.5 days. So you can see the sums don't add up, but it wasn't that. It wasn't really that was pushing me. Lots and lots of nasty, poisonous little things. So fingers crossed. Moving on. Gonna switch up my projects, stitch on something bright and sunny, and see how I get along. And I will make up the colours for my Hawkrun Hollow. Literally, when I pull it out and I think, right, what colour am I going to make this moon? I'm going to lay out some colours and I'm going to stitch it. It's literally how I'm feeling in the minute, which is why it's a glorious Technicolor version. And that's all it is. All I do is just assign a symbol to this skein of this skein of anchor, this bit of old floss, I don't even know where it's from, this bit of pretty silk I got from my grandma. I'm just assigning the symbol to it, and wherever that shows up in the pattern, I will just stitch it in there. My other Hawkrun Hollow, the Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, I am stitching very deliberately. I'm following the guidelines. I've bought even the correct over dyes, apart from a couple where they didn't go in with my fabric, and I've changed it up to be like a couple of shades darker, or I've gone, right, I want that slightly lighter. Other than that, I am sticking to the DMCs on that one. This one, whatever, however I'm feeling, and I'll rechart the words. So, and it's going to be more of a very much more personal to me and my children than a rather beautiful sampler bemoaning poor old Jacob who never came back. So, you know, we all do what we do. I love it, and I think it's time I did my block, and I really should do one block a year on it, otherwise I'm never going to get it done. Similarly, I need to do a block on Halloween in October, so there's a decision made for October. So I'll see how I get on. I might rattle these into June. I was thinking maybe for June I'll see what I fancy stitching on, and I might go back to Mini Autumn's Promise and see if I can get that boxed out in June, because I was so close. But since I put that down in my video, I've not picked it up again. But I've been ever so, my brain's been very muddled since then. But now I'm feeling a lot clearer. I've got a definite path that I'm on now, so it all just feels much better. So thank you for sticking with me. If you come and watch me every week, and I really appreciate it. I don't interact as much as I should, I know it. I read every comment, but I know I don't always interact because I'm a bit rubbish, and I'm sorry, and I think we should just go with it and love our hobby and keep at it and keep stitching, because honestly stitching's pretty much got me through, even though I'm too bloody tired most days. I've been too tired to do very much. I tend to get up very early. Well, for me, I get up between 6 and 6:30, and I get 3/4 of an hour to an hour and a half of peace and quiet before I wake up my household, and that's when I get 200 or 300 stitches into my treasure hunt bookshelf in the morning. Otherwise, when I get home from work, I'm just too tired to do it. Right guys, hopefully back to Thursday next week. Might not be quite as much stitching because I'll be back to Thursday, I hope. And I knew I wasn't going to make it last night. It was just way too long at work, way too tired. I left work at 9:10 last night. I got to work at 9 o'clock, so too long, too long to entertain it. Right guys, I'll see you next week. Hopefully back to Thursdays, and yeah, go and do some good stitching. Thanks for watching me guys. Bye bye.